Dressed in a pristine white wedding gown, Song Xin-chao sits not at an altar, but on cold unforgiving steps, a heavy iron chain shackled to her ankle. Everyone calls her the black-hearted evil woman because, they say, she killed her own mother. The men who once promised her the world now look at her with contempt. One of them tells her now that she has worn the wedding dress and fulfilled her wish, it is time to confess. He can't believe the sweet girl he knew could turn into this. But Xin-chao knows the truth. It was all a frame-up by her manipulative stepsister, Su Yulian. When she asks where they are going, they deliver the final blow. They're going to propose to Yulian. As they leave her in the darkness, her despair turns into a chilling smile. The only bouquet at her wedding is a tragic one. It wasn't always like this. Once, she had 3 doting older brothers who promised she would marry the best of them and live happily ever after. They were inseparable, and each one swore they couldn't live without her. But everything changed the day Su Yulian returned. Her pleas of innocence were met with accusations. They believed Yulian, who claimed Xin-chao murdered her own mother. Her protests that Yulian was the real killer were dismissed as lies. The men who once adored her now called her a vicious woman they would never marry, even in death. They sent her to prison, and even after her name was cleared, they locked her away in a mental institution where she was tormented. But then, a school bell rings. Xin-chao opens her eyes. She is not in a hospital, but a classroom. It is 8 years ago. She has been reborn. And just as the memory sinks in, the door opens, and her nightmare walks in. The teacher introduces the new transfer student, Su Yulian. Yulian, with a sweet smile, introduces herself not just as a new student, but as Xin-chao's dear, long-lost stepsister. Whispers immediately erupt. The students have heard the rumors. Yulian is the true heiress, making Xin-chao the fake one. In her past life, their mockery filled her with shame and fear. But now, Xin-chao only sees them as pathetic and boring. With the confidence of someone who has already lived through hell, she looks at her nemesis with cold indifference. When Yulian tries to sit next to her, claiming she wants to be with her sister, Xin-chao shuts her down instantly. She declares that sitting with Yulian would only drag her grades down, leaving Yulian humiliated. Xin-chao makes a silent vow. Since Yulian worked so hard to paint her as a villain in the last life, this time she'll gladly play the part. Later, Yulian approaches her again, feigning innocence and asking Xin-chao to show her around the school. Xin-chao sees right through it. Yulian isn't looking for a guide. She is sizing up her prey, thinking Xin-chao is weak and easy to manipulate. This time, Xin-chao doesn't wait for the trap. She confronts Yulian, who then fakes a fall, screaming that Xin-chao pushed her. Just like in her past life, the crowd blames her. But before they can rally behind the crying Yulian, Xin-chao strikes back.